I mean, the people in Delaware County, they know that there's something seriously wrong with Gayle Wells, both sexually and professionally. I mean, by this point, they know that. So we know that this man is a creep. It's been documented. It's been reported in the newspapers.
Right.
So and he's now the chief of the investigations division, right?
Right, and he was undersheriff at the time. I think he got demoted from that because he screwed up my frame. Okay.
I know that he had a lot of baggage.
Oh, yeah.
And he also, you brought up he was a sexual pervert too, right? Closely.
So let me tell you about that real quick, because it came out because he used to be an interim police chief in Grove. He wasn't voted. He was stepping in. I believe it was when I was not here a long time ago. He was a police chief at Grove, and he was demoted to patrol officer, which is as big a demotion as you can take in a police force, because he aimed the laser on his gun at a female employee's breast.
Oh my God!
He being funny, he thinks it's cute.
Right.
And now I'll tell you something that I have a lawyer friend, and a lot of the lawyers became my friends actually after this happened, especially after Backdoor Connor, the former Delaware County assistant DA, who has recently been charged on 10 felonies after he cheated me. But
we'll have to get back into that.
Yes, we'll get to that later. But I was in this attorney's office, and I was talking to his receptionist early on, and about Gayle Wells and about this incident. There's in all the papers where the laser, and she told me that she said something that took me back 2 years prior that I didn't understand until she told me this. But she told me that, and men don't know this, Tanya. I know that I know you do, but I'm telling you as a man. My wife or my girlfriends in the past, I was 39 when I got married, they weren't looking back, and won't tell them how often this happens to them, and I was never told because they didn't want me to do something about it.
Right.
But the secretary told me that, and I didn't realize, how often this goes on, it's something a lot of men don't think about, that Gayle, she said, it doesn't matter if they're 18 or 80, when he talks to a woman, he constantly scans up and down their body. Sexually, they're just demean them, and I've been told by a lot of people that he will go try to do things and do things with victims' mothers. Or if some kid gets arrested for drugs, he gets in jail, he will try to make deals.
Right. Get them out as long as there are favors.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Okay. And that's alleged, correct?
Right. Exactly. Right. I have no proof of that. But when that secretary told me that, I immediately thought back to 2 years earlier at the time, whenever I got out of jail, I was talking to my mother. And you've seen my mother, she's a picture. She's a beautiful woman. And she's in her 70s now. Still.
She's done classic.
Right.
Just like my mother.
And you. Anyway, she's the same age as well. Okay? Well, when she came out, and my mom's very prudish. I've never heard, very straight-laced woman. Of course, she's all broken up. She's shook up. None of us knew why it was going on at the time to the extent, what went wrong with the deal. But I got out of jail, and I was talking to her, and she told me that she felt dirty after talking to Gayle Wells alone in a room an hour and a half. Yeah. And I said, and of course, I'm her son. And I immediately said, what do you mean? And she said, I guess she saw the look on my face, said nothing. And I said, well, what did he do? And she wouldn't tell me. I started and finally I just said, did he touch you? And she said, no. And I said, and that was it. Because obviously she didn't want me to go out looking for Gayle Wells. But she wouldn't tell me. Right. She hasn't told me. It's just that 2 years later, when this woman at this lawyer's office told me what Gayle Wells does to women, then all of a sudden it clicked. And listen to this. I don't know if you've seen this, Tanya, but if you go look in my book, this is how in your face it is in Delaware County. if you look in my book, in that last chapter 8, the last one, there's a screenshot of Gayle Wells. Do you see that? There's a screenshot of his Facebook, and he says his motto is, this is his motto, longer, faster, harder, more. And he has that in 2 different places on his Facebook as his motto. And this man, and that's for our kids to see, whomever in the community, that's what he wants to be known as. And can you believe it? That's a public servant. That's after he's did the thing with the laser and the girl's breast and
right. And it's sad. That's what some of these public servants do, and we don't ever want that to become numb to us to make that acceptable. It's never acceptable.
No.
That a public servant is supposed to not only appear to have morals. So after the shooting, you called an ambulance. You called an ambulance to help Philpott, Daryl Philpott.
Exactly.
Okay, and you drove into town to make a statement about the shooting. We got there last week while Philpott and his accomplices went to a cousin's house so that Philpott could change clothes. And then you were stopped. Okay, as for our listeners, Ed was stopped in front of the sheriff's office and handcuffed with his face to the pavement. So while this was happening to you, what was happening with Philpott? Well, Philpott was actually being comforted by Deputy Wells. Gayle Wells was holding Philpott's hand, complimenting him on his hand, and otherwise coddling him. So you mean he was metaphorically having held his hand? As I'm reading this, he was metaphorically holding his hand, or was he really holding his hand?
He told him, "You have working man's hands. I'm going to hold them." Just like, imagine telling a woman that she had dancer's legs, "Can I touch them?"
Why would Wells figuratively or literally, and we know it's literally, hold Philpott's hand?
Well, I think it's because people like him don't really care how they get their kicks, if you want to be honest. Oh, and let me point out, because it sounds fantastic, like it's unbelievable, if they go to rapeofdelco.com/Philpott.mp3, they can hear that entire interview, and they can listen. They'll hear it. It's a 40-minute interview or 30-minute, I can't remember. But they can hear him tell him, "You have working man's hands. Can I hold them?" You can hear him laughing about Philpott being drunk and giggling and just flirting with Philpott literally for 30 minutes and coaching and leading him.
Hey, how you doing, sir? Yeah, well, I'm going to go ahead and slip the jacket off here if you don't mind, Daryl.
Oh, no.
Let me just hold your hand here.
Just do what you got to.
Looks like a working man's hands. Well, if you've been drinking half a pint of whiskey, I'll be pretty sterile.
Well, I can tell you every scratch I got in there.
I bet you can.
Okay, I'm gonna go drink that whiskey, boy.
What kind of hobbies you have? What do you do for fun? You got some good friends. You got some good friends there, Daryl. Don't hesitate to call me anytime of the day or night.
All right.
Bitch. Oh, you bitch. Oh, you bitch. Son of a bitch. I'm killing you. Dead motherfucker. Fucking punk. Fucking punk. Fucking judge your fucking niggers.
Well, we can't buy liquor, so we make speed. We can't buy beer, we grow weed. We do our best to avoid the law in the dry counties of Arkansas.